There's something strange that happens when you live with a problem long enough. You stop reacting to it. You adapt. You build little systems around it. You keep buckets in the bathroom. You learn how many gallons it takes to flush a toilet. And you figure out how to wash your hair with less water than most people use rinsing dishes. And eventually, you almost stop realizing how abnormal it all is. That's kind of where I found myself this week, because this isn't the first time we've lost water at my house. Honestly, around here, you almost expect it in the winter. Frozen lines, breaks, weather, mountain terrain. People in Appalachia are used to hard infrastructure conditions. But now that it's spring, and it's happening again, and after hauling buckets around my house for days, I finally started asking myself, what exactly is happening here? Not angrily, not politically, not to attack workers, not to attack local government, not to attack Logan PSD or Chapmanville, but genuinely, what is happening to these systems? And what is the long-term plan moving forward? What made this especially confusing for me is this. There is literally a water tank sitting on the hill above my house. And down below my driveway, there appears to be a booster station. So naturally, like most people, I thought, how can I not have water if the tank is practically above me? But after attending meetings, talking to people, looking at the terrain, and trying to understand how these systems work, I started realizing something important. These rural mountain water systems are far more interconnected and hydraulically complicated than most people realize. One system feeds another, one area buys water from another area, pressure zones interact, tank levels fluctuate, leaks miles away can affect homes somewhere completely different. And when you combine steep Appalachian terrain, aging infrastructure, understaffed systems, increasing repair demands, and decades of patchwork expansion, you end up with a system that may be operating under enormous strain. And honestly, I do not believe that the men out there working on these lines are lazy. I want to make that crystal clear. This video is not blaming workers. Most of these crews are probably overwhelmed, understaffed, working in rough terrain, working in the middle of the night, wind, sleet, hail, and snow, trying to keep these aging systems functioning the best they can. I think many of them are carrying the strain and the stress of these systems every day. This is bigger than one worker, bigger than one leak, bigger than one outage. This feels like an infrastructure conversation. At our house, we've adapted. We have a system. Bucket baths, stored water, contingency routines. We just keep going. And honestly, that may be the part that finally started bothering me the most. Not the inconvenience itself, but how normal it all had become. Because if I'm adapting around this situation at my house, then I know other people across Logan County are adapting too. Maybe differently, but still adapting. Some are dealing with low pressure, boil advisories, reoccurring outages, aging lines, brown water, emergency repairs, uncertainty. Different symptoms, same strain. And I think there's another part of this conversation that rural communities sometimes avoid talking about honestly. Infrastructure matters economically. Reliable water, reliable utilities, reliable roads, reliable internet. Those things are not luxuries anymore. They're foundational. Because when the infrastructure becomes unstable for a long period of time, it doesn't just affect daily convenience. It affects whether communities can realistically grow and prosper. It affects businesses considering investment, employers considering expansion, healthcare recruitment, housing development, and whether younger families feel confident staying here long term. And in the coal fields especially, where communities have already fought through economic transition and population decline, infrastructure reliability becomes even more important because people cannot seriously talk about economic growth, revitalization, and opportunity while basic systems remain unstable. That is not an insult to Logan County. That's reality. And I say that as someone who loves this region deeply. These mountains deserve modern, dependable infrastructure, just like anywhere else in America. Not because rural communities are asking for special treatment, but because we deserve the same basic reliability and opportunity as everyone else. And I think that's part of what many residents are really feeling underneath this frustration. People want to hope that these communities still have a future worth investing in. And that's why I believe residents deserve honest communication moving forward. Not perfection, not miracles overnight, not political fighting, just honesty. And if the answer right now is we fully don't know yet, then say that. But also tell people what's being evaluated, what the timeline is, what the interim plan is, and what the realistic expectation should be. Because uncertainty by itself is stressful. But uncertainty mixed with silence becomes exhausting. If county officials and local leaders believed maintaining local control was the best path forward, and we the residents have trusted you to make decisions in the community's best interest, then I also believe it's fair for us citizens to now ask, what is the long-term plan? Not as an attack, not as hostility, not as division, but a genuine civic question. Because the people living here deserve to understand what improvements are possible, what limitations exist, what modernization may be needed, and how these systems are expected to remain sustainable long-term, especially for younger families, elderly residents, and people already struggling financially. I love this region, and I love these mountains. And I know rural infrastructure is difficult. I know these systems are complicated, and I know that there are no instant fixes. But I also think communities deserve transparency. And I think people can handle difficult truths far better than confusion and silence. So this video isn't about outrage. It's about asking questions, reasonable questions, and hopefully beginning more honest conversations about where Logan County goes from here.